Over the next few days, I'm going to ask you to DVR this program and share it with a friend, at least one. Because the goal I stated to my staff here last week is to show you the face of evil like no one else will on television. And it has been going on for years. Look evil in the face.
سنحرره من دنس الصهاينة هؤلاء.
أنا السود إن شاء الله اللي هخوف اليهود وأقول لهم أكل إن شاء الله رب العالمين، صح ولا لا؟
بإذنه تعالى
إن شاء الله.
صهيون في الأرض طاغي وضار، ودام الإرهاب المغتصب دياري وأرضي، فلا لي خيار سوى الانتفاضة لتحريرها.
محمود ترى هيك چیزی نمیاره. برو من هوا تو دارم پشتتون، برو بس برو راست ببین کوچه بعدی خودش میری وسط برج.
Imagine if anything like that was on video from the United States, teaching our young to hate Muslims. How would that be received by the rest of the world? How would that be received by your neighbors? So why is it being received differently coming from the Arab world? And how do you fight it? Well, the first step is E2 in the E4 project. Education is E2. Educate yourself. I've been trying to do that in the last few months because I've seen what is coming. And a few weeks ago I went to Israel, and I went to a place for the second time in my life. It's an amazing place. It's called Yad Vashem. It is dedicated to remembering the 6 million innocent Jews who died there during the Holocaust. But there's something else that is there that is truly remarkable. And this time I went, this is what stuck out to me. It is the trees that have been planted to honor the righteous among the nations. This is an incredible book about it, The Righteous Among the Nations. The righteous among the nations are people who risk their lives to help keep Jews alive and safe during the Holocaust. It's the only organization in the world that does this. Heroes. Heroes, average citizens from all over the world that are now heroes. These heroes are the reason why Christine Kieran is still alive today. After her family went into hiding in an underground Polish sewer, a Catholic sewer worker found them. He didn't turn them in. Instead, he risked his own life to help them survive. This man would bring Karen's family food. He'd wash their clothes for them. They were dirty. The clothes were covered in lice. He spent 14 months doing this. This little girl spent 14 months underground in a sewer. The whole time she wore a green sweater. It was knitted for her by her grandmother. It's now in a museum. At 8, she wore this sweater. Later this week, I'm going to introduce you to the woman who wore this sweater for 14 months in a Polish sewer. Don't miss our show on Thursday. She'll be here along with others who lived a similar life and were saved by ordinary people. In today's world, with the technology that we have, millions could die in the blink of an eye. We have to strive to be the righteous among nations. I've said for a while that you should keep pictures of people that you admire around you. Keep them in your office, people that you want to be like. I have several pictures in my office of people I admire. I have Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the German pastor who was executed for exposing the Nazis as killers. He's just one of them. It serves as a daily reminder of someone who stood, someone who wasn't going to sit back and let evil win. In the coming days, I want to show you the faces of people not only that I admire and want to emulate, but people I believe you should too. People that you will see yourself in. people like the Polish Catholic priest. Find a piece of yourself in the people we will show you in the coming days. And I ask you to commit to be the person you were meant to be, not who you've allowed yourself to become, to find your purpose, to find your strength, to restore your courage, and become the righteous among nations. Hey, I have good news for you. Tonight, according to Reuters, quote, the United Nations warned on Wednesday of a possible crisis of confidence in and even a, quoting, collapse of the U.S. dollar, of its value against other currencies as it continues to decline. In a mid-year review of the world economy, the UN Economic Division said such a development stemming from the falling value of foreign dollar holdings would imperil the global financial system. Imperil the global financial system? What kind of horrible fear-mongering conspiracies are they trying to peddle over there at Reuters? Look, let me be clear. As President Obama has said in the past, he has pulled the economy back from the brink of disaster that he inherited. He passed all of the financial regulation to ensure something like this would never, ever happen again. So why in the whole world would Reuters try to spin this so ugly? Do they just hate the president because he's black? Or is it that he has a funny name? Maybe it's because he wasn't born in one of the contiguous states like all the other nicely homogenized presidents. We should get the race police over at NBC on this right away. Speaking of financial chaos, Europe is on fire. What? What kind of crazy conspiracy is this one? Well, I tell you what. While the rest of the world plays political games and gets you ready for the 2012 election, and they start talking about this glorious Arab Spring, we've already discovered what the Arab Spring is all about. So next, let me tell you about the European summer that's about to happen. Well, I think after the lovely Arab Spring that we've all enjoyed, where democratic showers have brought about military ruling flowers, we've all been looking forward to that beautiful European summer. But the heat isn't caused by the sun. No, it's caused by the riots and the Molotov cocktails. But reports say, and I'm quoting, that there is a relative calm after police injured more than 100 protesters in Barcelona on Friday. Oh, a relative calm. Off-duty police officers told the Daily Beast that he and his colleagues were angry at the cops for resorting to violence, adding that after the recent cuts to police salaries and pensions, it should be them in the square protesting. Barcelona is not alone, chanted thousands in Madrid on this last Friday night. These are our weapons, shouted the protesters, holding up long-stemmed flowers. Since May 15th, protesters of all ages and background have flocked to the squares with a, quote, mixture of ideologies, but overall feel unrepresented and used by politicians. Gee. Used by politicians and not represented by them. And do we have any of those seeds being planted here in America? Especially with a mixture of ideologies. That's interesting. Kind of like, what do you think? Communist and socialist and maybe some radical Islamists just thrown in there for good measure? Sure. And in Athens, Greece, for days, tens of thousands have been protesting against the government's austerity measures. Huge crowds have been assembling in front of the Greek parliament. They were booing, whistling, and chanting, "Thieves, thieves," while pointing at government buildings. The Greek protests have been inspired by similar demonstrations in Spain. In fact, groups of Spaniards have even come over to Greece to help and join in their protests as a sign of solidarity, holding up protest signs written in Spanish. If I may, America, excuse me for just a few minutes. Let me make the last few moments of this segment to appeal in a direct message to those in Washington. See these pictures. See them clearly, because the Arab Spring will turn into the European summer, and that will turn into the American fall if sanity isn't restored. Please, those in Washington, stand with the people. Get yourself out of corruption. Root yourself in the principles and the policies that our nation was founded in and on. Stand with the Constitution and stand again with the people. We are, in the end, Americans, and I don't care what anybody says. We may be the last generation of Americans that are unique from the rest of the world, but we still are unique. We don't behave like those in the Arab streets or European streets unless things are so out of control and there is no leadership. Washington, and anyone within the sound of my voice, you must lead clearly and peacefully, yet you must provide a radically different path. One, dare I say it, rooted in our principles and our Constitution. If you're looking for a revolutionary, may I suggest less Che and more Sam Adams. We have a few special shows coming over the next few days and weeks. Tomorrow, I'm going to do something that, of course, causes all kinds of controversy. I'm going to show you the roots of the Muslim Brotherhood. Remember, our president tells you that they're fine. I'm going to show you their connections to the Nazi Party of World War II. They are closely aligned. They came together with a common enemy of the Jew. It is history that no one else will show you. You won't learn it anyplace else. Then on Thursday, I want to share with you the heroes of the Holocaust, stories of those who were saved by brave friends and neighbors and strangers, people that did the right thing. We'll be joined by people who withstood unimaginable conditions and have lived to tell the tales. Please watch and gather your family. And then one other thing, we have several details coming out on this event in Jerusalem on 8/24. I need you to get involved, and I need you and your church to reach out to your Jewish friends and neighbors, your synagogues and your Jewish community centers, and start to work together, to stand together. More details at glennbeck.com/Israel. From New York, good night, America.